Hey, welcome to lesson 4 in a series of Seek Only the Experience and Do Not Let Theology Screw Up with Your Mind. So let's begin with a little quiet time. Close your eyes for a moment and just dive in. Just go as deep into yourself, downwards, inward, and downward. Empty your mind of everything. Just drop in. Like as you drop in, you take the rest of us with you. And if anyone else drops in, I'll take you. Mm. Those that are coming in, just drop in, close your eyes. Empty your mind of everything that's just there. And just allow yourself to feel. Like a little sound. Dropping in, emptying the mind. Mm. Dropping in. And if there are any thoughts left, begin to repeat inside your mind lesson number 4, which is these thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things that are in this room or street or backyard. These thoughts. Which thoughts? These thoughts do not mean anything. Mm. Mm. These thoughts do not mean anything. Hey Chantal, would you like to begin to read?
Hey, everyone. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day.
Mm.
In these practice periods, begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts you think are bad.
Mm.
You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. This is why they do not mean anything.
Mm.
I'm just going to ask somebody else to read the next paragraph, and then somebody else can ask somebody else.
Good.
I just like to ask everybody to try to read very calmly. Yes, Tony?
In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them.
Read that one again, please.
Sorry, my love, I lift this up. That one sentence.
Yes.
Sorry. None of them represents your real thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
which are being covered up by them.
Yes.
The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond. And shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to sight and make seeing impossible. You do not want either. You would like to go next.
Someone else?
I'll read.
Oh.
This is a major exercise and will be repeated from time to time in somewhat different form. The aim here is to train you in the first steps toward the goal of separating the meaningless from the meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
It is a first attempt in the long-range purpose of learning to see the meaningless as outside you and the meaningful within. It is also the beginning of training your mind to recognize what is the same and what is different.
Mm.
Someone else?
I'll take it on because we're going to do the application. So in using your thoughts for application of today's idea, the idea for today, identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, these thoughts about,
Oh,
hello?
could you slow down for me?
Yes, honey.
Thank you.
These thoughts,
Mm.
this thought about me reading too fast does not mean anything. It's like the things I see in this room. And this thought about mm, this thought about feeling grateful does not mean anything. It's like the things I see on this screen. All right, whoever wants to jump in, let's do the application. Any thought that's as real as possible. Like, don't try to select your thoughts. Just come with the ones that are really there. Pick one out and speak it out loud. Put your hand up.
This thought about, I'm going to jump ahead of you, Ellison, sorry. This thought about, oh, it's so nice and quiet, does not mean anything.
And also say, it's like the things I see. Yeah.
It's like the things
I
I
see.
see in this room.
Yeah. Allison?
This thought about my mother does not mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
It is like the things I see in this room.
Beautiful. Anyone else? Leah?
These thoughts about speaking out loud in a new group does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in the room.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, and the more you allow yourself to express things that are like maybe unpleasant or maybe thoughts that you want to hide, the more you reveal yourself, the more you free yourself up also. So let's catch a few more.
Okay, may I?
Yeah.
These thoughts about my relationship towards my daughter do not mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the things I see next to my window.
Beautiful. Wow, go Slovakia. Woohoo. Czechoslovakia.
Hi.
Hi. All right, who else? Okay.
These thoughts,
Huh?
these thoughts
Okay.
about death do not mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
They are like
Mm-hmm.
the picture on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
the bed I lay on, the radiator, the ceiling.
Thank you. Donka?
These thoughts, this thought about stuff being pointless does not mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
It is like the things I see in this room,
Great.
like this bed.
Okay, one more maybe? Okay, we have two. So Manon and then Lorella.
These thoughts about my son's choices do not mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
They are like the things I see in this room.
Yeah. Lorella?
These thoughts about being shy to speak and getting the second sentence wrong do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room.
Beautiful. So who's got a text in front of them? Kim, would you like to finish it off? Thank you.
Mine might be a bit different. It's from the Sparkly edition.
That's okay. That's all right. They're pretty similar.
You can also use the idea for a particular thought which you recognise as harmful. This practice is useful, but is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. Further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Do not repeat these exercises more than 3 or 4 times during the day. We will return to them later.
How many times today?
3 or 4 times. Mm.
So see if you can just place it somewhere in your mind when that could be good for you. And really put that in, because without the practice, this is just another trip. So this is the most important part of it. I do recommend a reminder, because I could guarantee you that most of you will catch yourself around 5 o'clock and say, oh, I haven't done it. Some little alarm. Like, if you're doing this, let's do it. Yeah, like, let's really do it. You're doing it as a team. So really make sure you do this. Question, Alison?
Yeah, what if we are already like doing our lesson a day and we've been told only do one lesson per day?
That's fine. You've done this many times, haven't you? Like, have you done a course a few times?
Not really. not the workbook.
All right. So you're already on a different lesson?
Yeah, I'm at the end of
That's fine.
I'm in
That's
the 300.
absolutely fine. You've pretty much done it. So don't worry. Just up to you.
So,
Because
okay.
the ones you're doing right now are just prayers. They're slightly different.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, and these were more like a mind training. You will find it doing it second time, you're really gonna get somewhere. Because what they really do, like even with these thoughts, like at some point, you see, it's not about getting rid of thoughts. It's about just seeing the meaninglessness of them. Eventually, they're not gonna grip you. You know how when sometimes a thought grips you? This just becomes like, here comes another thought, here comes another thought, and eventually it becomes just like one little area that begins to vanish. And you find yourself in this exquisite peace, like a peace you have never felt before, because none of this will keep taking you constantly away from you, from your core being. So this is the purpose of these practices. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Let's just close our eyes and we sit for another couple of minutes in a space. Just empty your mind of everything. You could start with these thoughts do not mean anything, and then just go into a deep dropping in. Mm. Mm. Thank you guys for coming. See you in 24 hours.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.